Private and Confidential, a story about Braille, by Marion Ripley and Colin Backhouse. "What does private and confidential mean?" asked Laura. "There's a letter here from Mom, and it's written on the envelope in big black letters." Joe was opening his newsletter for the local soccer club. "It means that no one else is allowed to read it except Mom," he said. "It's probably from the bank." "It's not fair," said Laura. "Why doesn't anyone ever write to me?" The next day at school, Mr. Joshi made an announcement. "I've received a letter from a teacher in Australia. He said that if any of you would like an Australian pen pal, come see me." Laura was really excited. She hurried up to Mr. Joshi's desk. "Can I have a girl who likes swimming and gerbils and watching television?" she said. "I'm sorry, Laura," Mr. Joshi said. "All the children are boys. You can have Steve, Paul, Darren, Malcolm, or Luke." Laura was a bit disappointed. "Never mind," she said. "I'll take Malcolm." That night Laura sat down to write her first letter to Malcolm. It was hard to know what to say. "Just tell him about yourself and ask him to write back. That's enough to start with," said Dad. So that's what she did. "Dear Malcolm, I got your address from a teacher at my school. I am 10 years old and I go to Holy Ridge School. I like swimming and watching television and talking to my friends. Sometimes I get into trouble because I talk in class and in assembly, and other times I'm not supposed to. I would really like a letter from you. Please send me a photo if you can. What is it like living in Australia? From Laura O'Brien." Laura waited for the mail every day, and it was not long before an airmail letter arrived for her, all the way from Australia. "Dear Laura, it was great to get your letter. I like swimming too, and there is a big pool right near where I live, so I go there with my friends after school most afternoons in the summer. It is too cold for swimming at the moment because it is winter here, while you have summer. But I guess you knew that already. I have a sister, Hannah, who is 16, and a brother, Sam, who is 9. My cat is called Mulberry, but I can't remember how old she is. I'm sending a photo. It was taken at the pool last summer, but I have grown about 4 inches since then. Write back soon, from Malcolm." Laura really liked the letter, and she really liked the photo. She took them to school and got scolded for passing them around class. That evening she wrote a long letter to Malcolm and sent him a photo even though he hadn't actually asked for one. At the end of the letter she wrote, "Write back soon." She mailed it on her way to school the next morning. Laura waited and waited for a reply from Malcolm, and after 3 weeks she still hadn't had a reply. It was really disappointing. "Maybe he didn't like your photo," said Joe. At last there was a letter, but it wasn't from Malcolm. "Dear Laura, I'm Malcolm's sister, and I'm writing to you because I think you might be waiting for a letter from him. He has had to go into the hospital for an eye operation. He has very poor sight. In fact, he can hardly see at all, and he never will be able to. He goes to the same school as the rest of us, but he types most of his work, and his lesson books are in Braille. I read your letters to him, and I described your photo. He thought you sounded really nice, and he was shown the photo to all his friends. He should be out of the hospital next week, and I'm sure he'll write to you then. Love, from Hannah." "What's up, Laura?" asked Dad as he came into the hall. "It's Malcolm," said Laura. "He's nearly blind. He's gone into the hospital for an operation, but it isn't going to make him see any better. I can't believe it. Why didn't he tell me?" "Perhaps he didn't think it was the most important thing about him," said Dad. "Maybe he wanted to talk about swimming and his family, and the cat instead. He was probably going to tell you when you knew each other a little better. Does it really matter that much?" Laura got out the photo of Malcolm. He looked so fit and happy in the picture. It was hard to imagine him being sick in the hospital. Then she had an idea. She would send him a get well card, and she would do it in Braille. Karen at school had an aunt who was blind. She would probably help if she was not too busy with her baby. After school the next day, Laura went with Karen to visit her aunt. Karen's aunt had a brailing machine, which was like a typewriter, but with fewer keys. She gave Laura a Braille alphabet card and showed her how to press the keys so that they made the raised dots. Then she put Laura's card in the brailer, and Laura brailled her message, "Get well soon. Love from Laura." 10 days later, a letter arrived, but it wasn't a pale blue airmail envelope this time. It was a cardboard tube with a special address label on the outside. Inside the tube was a letter in Braille. Laura sat down on the stairs with her alphabet card to find out what it said. "What does your letter say?" asked Joe, peering over Laura's shoulder. "I'm not telling you," said Laura. "From now on, my letters from Malcolm are private and confidential."